ladies and gentlemen, Senator, Member of Congress, and distinguished witness. Thank you for joining us today to commemorate the 24th anniversary of the Vietnam Human Rights Day. As you know, the U.S. Senate and House of Representatives passed the bill in 1994, designate May 11 as the Vietnam Human Rights Day. Then President Clinton signed the measure into law. Every year we gather here in the capital of the free world to bring attention, awareness to the plight of those who suffer at the hands of the socialist communists of Vietnam. The communist regime in Vietnam is not a forgiving government. If you dare to speak your mind, to speak the truth, they will hang you and destroy you and your family. There is no freedom of expression, no freedom to speak of your mind, and no freedom to assembly, to protest. This is the simple, clear truth about the Vietnamese Communist government. As the Vietnamese American community of the Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia, we cannot look away while our family and our friends are held in political prisoners in Vietnam. Recently, they put in jail almost 100 honest people just for the political and religious reason. We will hear the key leaders who have and continue to fight for the human rights in Vietnam, and it's the true their leadership, political will, and moral courage that we have such tremendous support here at Capitol Hill. Thank you for being here and share the remember of you, the Vietnam Human Rights Day. Thank you very much.
Significance of Vietnam Human Rights Day. Kính thưa quý vị, và sau đây để bắt đầu chương trình, chúng tôi giới thiệu đến quý vị Dr. Diệu Thị Nguyễn. Cô sẽ cho chúng ta và hướng dẫn chúng ta trở lại lịch sử của ngày nhân quyền Việt Nam từ 24 năm vừa qua. Xin quý vị của chúng tôi đón tiếp Dr. Diệu Thị Nguyễn. Please welcome.
Dear honorable members of Congress, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor for me to represent the organizing committee in welcoming you to the 24th commemoration of Vietnam Human Rights Day. More than 24 years ago, Dr. Nguyen Đang Quế, a pro-democracy activist, began a nonviolent movement to call on the Vietnamese government to restore all basic human rights, such as freedom of speech, freedom of religion, movement, and association for all citizens in Vietnam. Fueled by this movement, Vietnamese Americans across the United States rallied together to advocate for the passage of a joint resolution to designate May 11, 1994 as Vietnam Human Rights Day. Through the tireless efforts of the Vietnamese American community, coupled with the support of members of Congress, led by former Senator Charles Robb, as well as former Congresswoman Leslie Byrne, who are very honored to have present today at this ceremony. The joint resolution was passed successfully and was subsequently signed into law by President Bill Clinton on May 25, 1994. Since then, the commemoration of Vietnam Human Rights Day has become an annual bipartisan sponsorship event. We are deeply honored to have Senator John Cornyn from Texas sponsor this year's commemoration. The passage of the resolution honoring Vietnam Human Rights Day represents the United States' dedication and commitment to supporting the Vietnamese people's nonviolent movement to advance freedom, democracy, and basic human rights in Vietnam. Under one unifying voice, we seek to bring attention to the human rights violations taking place in Vietnam. More than ever, we must be firm and courageous to speak up about these injustices. As Dr. Martin Luther King once said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. In a very special part of today's event, we have 3 guest speakers who are former prisoners of conscience from Vietnam. Pastor Nguyễn Công Chính, college student Phương Uyên Nguyen, and musician Việt Khang will share their personal accounts of being on the forefront of the fight for human rights in Vietnam. We will have the opportunity to hear from the experts in the field of human rights, from members of Congress and the State Department on the role of human rights in foreign policy negotiations with Vietnam. We will also hear from members of the media whose exceptional reporting bring attention to current human rights violations in the world. We are also very fortunate to have representatives of delegations from Myanmar, Tibet, China, Laos, Mongolia, and Gilgit-Baltistan. We appreciate their friendship and commitment to stand with us to raise awareness of human rights oppression, not only in Vietnam, but throughout the world. On behalf of the organizing committee, I thank you for being here with us to commemorate the 24th anniversary of Vietnam Human Rights Day. Next, I would like to invite the chair of our organizing committee, Mr. Đinh Hùng Cường, who is also president of the Vietnamese community of DC, Maryland, and Virginia, to deliver his remarks. Please welcome Mr. Đinh Hùng Cường.
Ladies and gentlemen, Senator, Member of Congress, and distinguished guests, thank you for joining us today to commemorate the 24th anniversary of the Vietnam Human Rights Day. As you know, the U.S. Senate and House of Representatives passed the bill in 1994, designate May 11 as the Vietnam Human Rights Day. Then President Clinton signed the measure into law. Every year we gather here in the capital of the free world to bring attention, awareness to the plight of those who suffer at the hands of the socialist communists of Vietnam. The communist regime in Vietnam is not a forgiving government. If you dare to speak your mind, to speak the truth, they will hang you and destroy you and your family. There is no freedom of expression, no freedom to speak of your mind, and no freedom to actually to protest. This is the simple, clear truth about the Vietnamese Communist government. As the Vietnamese American community of the Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia, we cannot look away while our family and our friends are held in politics.